Hello and welcome. This is Highlife Channel Enterprise TV. Well, here we are making a debut for a special genre of music that not only made the waves for the better part of the 20th century, but also gave West Africans an identity in artistic sense. We are two here. I am Akin Fatunke.
And I'm Citizen Jones Susan. Yeah.
I bid you welcome to another episode here. Now, Citizen Jones.
Yeah.
Now, talking about Highlife and our maestros that are long past. We started talking about names that are unput-downable, names that we know that they will never.
The names are many and variegated, as I said.
Be, and let's have.
Actually, the whole thing started with a gentleman known as Ambrose Campbell. Ambrose was in England in the early 1920s, and was a pianist. So he adapted local high-life strings for piano music. You know, Ambrose Campbell was...
And you can say that again. In fact, it's even alleged that the Beatles kind of stole a particular track of a song, and then they made it into a big song.
They adapted it for pop music.
For pop music. So just to accentuate.
Yeah, that's what musicians do. If you were one, I'll look for a little something to copy from you and make the most of mine.
As long as you acknowledge it. And that was not acknowledged. Okay, yeah.
So, apart from Ambrose Campbell, we had the godfather of them all, Bobby Benson. If you remember, the Ikorodu boy became a musician by default. He was a seaman. He happened to have traveled to the West Indies in those far off years, met his first wife, and the rest, as they say, is history. He came back to Nigeria, started off as a comedian, musician. Of course, the music was Highlife because the Ghanaians were a little ahead in terms of Highlife music. You know, Edward Tete Mensah, the great E.T. Mensah, was the forerunner in that part of the world. But you had other musicians like C.K. Mann, Jerry Hansen of the professional. You had the Uhuru Dance Band that featured a Nigerian called Sammy Obot. And of course, Joe Mensah, he was the face of Uhuru, and so on and so on.
Back before we, for Bobby Benson and his Kaban Bamboo.
Kaban Bamboo, yeah.
That was the place to be. I remember somebody was
on Ikorodu Road.
And
the Kaban Bamboo, I remember.
What exactly is going on around here? And people will begin to say, yeah, these are the people of high, and they are having a life. They are the set of people that, you know, the cream de la cream of society.
Yeah, the idiom high life came to being at that time. But also remember that Bobby Benson trained Victor Olaiya, and Bobby Benson had Rex Lawson, Sam Akpabot, the one you used to know as Sam Akpabot. You know, Sam Akpabot is from today's Akwa Ibom State. And you had Victor, there was Victor Waifo.
Victor Waifo.
Yeah. And of course, away from that, in the eastern Nigeria of yore, you had Celestine Uku.
Oh, yes.
Philosophers National.
Yeah.
And you had Joseph Uneze Jones,
yeah.
if you remember. And so on and so on. I cannot forget Ian Henshaw, Bobby Kingsley Bassey, Roy Chicago, Balamila came from the north in those years. From
As a matter of fact, back to Celestine Oku, you know, I mean, he died young.
Yeah.
And I know commemorative remembrance is being made of him to try and make to make his music redound.
His brother was Sonny Pedido.
Sonny
Pedido attempted to copy Cross the Juba, but you know.
No, I wasn't talking. Not yet Cross the Juba. I was talking about Celestine Oku.
I know what you mean.
Of course,
I know.
He died young.
We are digressing, yeah.
And then we are now going to Crossdale Juba.
Who also died young.
Who also died young.
Crossdale Juba played under Moses Adeolu Akisoya, if you remember.
Baba Ito.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Adeolu was a doyen, if you see what I mean.
You can say that again. I mean, with a lot of idioms, and he was very contemporary in his choice of music. So you listen to Adeolu Akisoya, you knew what was going on in the milieu.
Okay, let's put it this way. Our musicians, those you call the doyens, the legends who have gone on, sang our weaknesses, our strengths, sang about our progresses, our failures, and so on. In other words, musicians of yore had a message in their music, in their songs, but not anymore.
I tell you again,
not anymore.
If you go to business school, you'll be talking about the SWOT. You write, they sang about our strength, our weaknesses, our opportunities, and the threats. And they kept on putting that across for people to
and so
learn.
A musician drops a line or two for you. You take that home.
Oh, yes. And
it's stuck.
Redounding.
Bobby Benson's Taxi Driver still resonates somewhere in my head till day after tomorrow.
You know, there's a story behind the Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
A jilted lover and an air pilot and all that. So look, why would you want to leave me? If you want to marry a taxi driver, now you won't be that. Again, still relevant till tomorrow. We're not even talking about today. Just to drive it home.
From the same man, from the same Bobby Benson, you had ìyàwó ṣé wọ́ ló ṣẹ̀wọ̀n o ìwọ ló ṣẹ̀wọ̀n o baby ìwọ ló ṣẹ̀wọ̀n.
Oh yes, which Sonny Ade later on popularized. I tell you, the Colonial Oga guy, some kind of pattern up there was dandy and was ladies' man.
Okay, you mean Bobby?
Bobby. Yeah. Yes, Bobby Benson. Even when he started his music, from jazz to getting all those other stars to grow off him, and those stars will be the second generation, and then third generation have also come. Beautiful.
Victor Waifo.
Yes.
Played under him.
He played under him, and Victor Waifo, I remember very well. It might have been written, but he said it to me that back in those days they would jump fence as you know, St. Gregory's, and we'll go and find a way around it, even though he was an A1
in the Obalende axis.
Obalende axis up to Yaba. He will come, jump the fence, and then come and make his inputs. He was also a fantastic sportsman. I'll talk about his prowess being a professor as at the time of death. Also, sculpture, a great ambassador, the Joromi
fame.
Joromio, Jomi, Jo.
You know, that song won a prize in 1969 in faraway Japan.
It did.
Operation Breadbasket, if you remember.
Oh, yes. To look at history.
Victor Waifo was a rare find.
More than a rare find.
But I'm sorry to say this, Akin. We shamefully have no knack for edifying our heroes. We don't like our heroes. That's my trouble.
We don't like our heroes.
We don't
honor
their memory at all.
Edify them, but I know there are plans afoot to recognize them. For Professor Victor Waifo, I am proud to say I witnessed he's being given the D.Lit, Doctor of Literature.
Victor dreamt of a Hall of Fame for musicians. That didn't happen until he passed.
He passed, and professors upon professors recognized that. I picked that award on his behalf, and I remember when I gave it to him, he said, "Yeah, I feel fulfilled."
Why? Wow.
Yeah.
So Highlife music was native, as you said in your opener, to the western coast, specifically Nigeria, Ghana, the Gambia.
The Gambia.
A bit of it in Sierra Leone of yore,
because of the Creoles.
Yeah, the returnees. Yeah,
they had the influence of the jazz, the ska, and all that, and that came into it. But they were not in any way near what you had in Ghana and what you had in Nigeria.
Memories are made of stuff like this. Okay, if Yinka Alakija is making plans to revive Highlife music, not a particularly easy enterprise, but I think radio stations and TV stations must be involved. Because it is when they play these songs regularly that you hope to make an input, score a mileage.
Now
that's the only way.
You can say that again. You just mentioned Yinka Lakija Prime Quest Bank making all the waves in some of those old tunes, bringing it back to life. So when you go to parties...
Do you remember Eddie Okonta dropped a song, BC, for us?
Olólùfẹ́ mi BC, Aunty BC Oshungbo, Majino sí mi rárá, Aunty BC Majino sí mi rárá.
And then Fred Coker claimed he was the author of that song. If you remember.
Fred authored that song, and that again goes back.
Okonta rehashed the song.
Goes back.
Adapted that song for Lagos nightlife.
And I can say this and this again. Okay, Eddie Okonta with his trumpets.
Oh yeah.
From the southern.
Eddie Okonta now as Asabaman.
And could now sing in Yoruba.
Oh yeah. He was a Lagos boy.
Oh yo.
He lived permanently at Ikorodu until he passed.
I can say once more time, there was a country where music, Highlife, not only unified us, but took us, stamped us on the map.
Highlife enhanced nightlife across Nigeria. But nightlife is gone.
It's dead.
I hope it can be revived.
I believe, hopefully, when we now have a 24-hour energy surrounding and we can take care of our security, yes, the likes of the governor, we just turned 80, Olumense, and the rest, just waiting for us to now then get our grooves back.
So Olumense was a great night crawler, and he encouraged a lot of it.
You can say, and you say that again, way of promoting tourism for Nigeria. We have the weather, so just add that onto music, and our tourism industry will get the fillip. I dare say, beautiful.
Well, I can like with any show on radio or TV, it is time to wrap the show up and begin to go, but not before saying that Highlife made a top impression. We can recover lost ground, don't you think?
We can recover lost ground so fast, and with what we are trying to portray, we'll have to say that Highlife is the life.
Yeah.
And if you love Highlife music, or those before you were lovers of its sounds, for their sakes, please take a listen. You should listen. And again, it is a music that was yesterday, is for today, and will remain.
Akin music is a bridge.
It's a bridge.
Yeah.
And it will cure.
Yeah.
Not only cure frailties, it will also, at the end of the day, bind us as one. We have intermarriages between tribes.
Thank you for allowing me into this.
You are always welcome, Sister Jones.
Thank
and
you.
We'll continue this another time. Please, always try and take
Make it a date.
Make it a date with us.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
The highly anticipated book titled Citizen Jones Selected Prologues is finally here.
This exclusive new book takes you on a journey through the finest writing of the ace journalist and broadcaster that will leave you inspired and informed.
Citizen Jones Selected Prologues of Volume 1 now available. Get your copy now.
For details, contact 0706 9637 935 or send an email to enterprisetv@gmail.com.
Citizen Jones Selected Prologues,
a classical compendium of compelling arguments.
The highly anticipated book titled Citizen Jones Selected Prologues is finally here.
This exclusive new book takes you on a journey through the finest writing of the ace journalist and broadcaster that will leave you inspired and informed.
Citizen Jones Selected Prologues of Volume 1 now available. Get your copy now.
For details, contact 0706 9637 935 or send an email to enterprisetv@gmail.com.
Citizen Jones Selected Prologues,
a classical compendium of compelling arguments.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth. Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth. Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.
On City to City this week, we are heading to Dublin in Ireland. Come with us. The city of Dublin in Ireland is not only the capital of the Republic, but is also the spiritual and ancestral home to some 1 million Dubliners today, who are the proud successors to a great heritage bequeathed to them by their proud forebears over 1 millennium and century. One millennium and a century. Dublin is the largest city by size on the island of Ireland. The River Liffey is an unmistakable spectacle to behold for visitors. And sitting on the bay at its mouth is the province of Leinster, bordered on the south by Dublin Mountains, a part of the Wicklow Mountains range. Dublin is a city that carries its proud history on its sleeves. Its people are its treasure. And as happy Dubliners of all classes go about their daily businesses, their city bustles with monuments to the great achievements that have continued to draw visitors from all parts of the world.